On the early morning of August 2nd, 1990, the world awoke to the startling news that the armed forces of the Republic of Iraq had surged across its southern frontier into the sovereign territory of Kuwait. In scarcely a few hours, a state that had existed for less than half a century was overrun, its government deposed, and its oil wells seized. But this sudden act of aggression would reverberate far beyond the sands of the Gulf, reshaping the contours of global security in the post-Cold War era. Emerging from the bloody stalemate of the 8-year Iran-Iraq War, Baghdad in 1988 stood victorious on the battlefield, yet bankrupt at home. Reconstruction costs and life-shattering debts to Gulf creditors weighed heavily on Saddam Hussein's regime. $37 billion in war loans, made by Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and others, now hung over Iraq like a guillotine. Kuwait's overproduction of oil, routinely exceeding its OPEC quota, drove global prices down, starving Iraq of vital revenue needed to heal its war-torn economy. Appeals at OPEC meetings for relief were rebuffed. Repeated financial rebuffs stoked a narrative in Saddam's inner circle. Kuwait was intentionally undermining Iraq's recovery. Intertwined with financial grievance was a claim of historical injustice. British-drawn borders of the 1920s, carving Kuwait out of Basra province, were labeled artificial by Baghdad. In private strategy sessions, senior Iraqi planners calculated that seizing Kuwait's central bank reserves and oil fields would both erase debts and cement Iraq's dominance in the Gulf. Shuttle diplomacy and quiet overtures failed to sway Baghdad or Kuwait. By late July 1990, diplomatic avenues had been exhausted. A lightning strike plan emerged as the only path to redressing long-standing injustices, according to internal Iraqi communique. In the pre-dawn darkness of August 2nd, 3 armored corps rolled forward. Coordinated artillery barrages and mechanized spearheads overwhelmed underprepared Kuwaiti defenses. Within 3 hours, Iraqi units encircled Kuwait City, seizing oil terminals, the national radio station, and even the emir's palace. The emir, Sheikh Jabir al-Ahmad al-Sabah, fled into exile. Tens of thousands of foreign workers found themselves trapped under martial law. By daybreak, Baghdad declared Kuwait its 19th province. The invasion set off an extraordinary global reaction. Within hours, the United Nations Security Council convened. Its first demand, unconditional Iraqi withdrawal. Resolutions imposing comprehensive sanctions soon followed, isolating Iraq diplomatically and economically. Arab states, once wary of foreign troops on their soil, now appealed for collective defense. Saudi Arabia, fearing that it might be next, opened its desert plains to U.S. and allied forces. Kuwait's government, in exile, rallied support in Riyadh, drawing both Western and Muslim-majority nations into a burgeoning coalition. By November, the Security Council had authorized all necessary means to restore Kuwaiti sovereignty if Iraq remained. For the first time under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, a collective security mission prepared to enforce world order by force of arms. On August 6th, Operation Desert Shield commenced. U.S. 7th Corps, Marine Expeditionary Forces, and Allied brigades deployed to Saudi Arabia with astonishing speed. Bases sprouted like oases across the sand. Under General H. Norman Schwarzkopf's unified command, satellite links fused with terrestrial fiber-optic networks to deliver real-time battlefield intelligence. Reconnaissance flights tracked Iraqi deployments. Electronic intercept stations mapped command nodes. Meanwhile, economic sanctions choked critical sectors of the Iraqi war machine. The coalition's numerical and technological superiority became a potent deterrent. Scattered border skirmishes and Scud launches tested the coalition, but Desert Shield remained fundamentally a standoff. Its true success lay in convincing Baghdad that any further aggression would be met with overwhelming force. When the January 15th deadline for Iraqi withdrawal passed unmet, the coalition struck. Operation Desert Storm began with a thunderous aerial assault. Over 90,000 sorties in 6 weeks would redefine modern warfare. Stealth penetration by B-2 and F-117 aircraft blinded enemy radar. Precision-guided munitions, still in their infancy, sought out command centers, bridges, and air defenses. Electronic warfare platforms jammed communications. Fighter escorts secured air supremacy within days. American audiences watched the so-called video game war unfold on television screens. Debates swirled around the ethics of remote precision engagement, but the battlefield results were undeniable. On February 24, 1991, Desert Sabre commenced. A daring left-hook maneuver sliced through southern Iraq, severing retreat routes and enveloping Republican Guard units. In less than 100 hours, mechanized divisions, supported by mobile artillery and close air support, liberated Kuwait City, routed Iraqi armies, and reached positions near Basra. By February 28th, a ceasefire took effect. Coalition casualties numbered in the low hundreds. Iraqi military losses likely exceeded 20,000, although civilian tolls from occupation policies and collateral damage remain contested. The retreating Iraqi forces enacted a scorched earth policy. Over 600 oil wells were set ablaze, unleashing environmental devastation. Rivers of crude coursed through valleys. Smoke plumes reached the stratosphere. Kuwaiti and coalition engineers, aided by international agencies, labored for months to cap wells and contain spills, pioneering rapid response techniques that would shape future disaster relief. Kuwait's expatriate workers endured forced labor and shortages. In Iraq, comprehensive sanctions, designed to restrain Saddam's regime, had severe humanitarian consequences: impaired health care, water treatment failures, and food shortages. The UN's Oil for Food program emerged as a partial remedy amid ethical debates on sanctions versus direct relief. The Gulf War reaffirmed a cornerstone of post-World War II order: territorial conquest by force would not be tolerated. The UN's swift invocation of Chapter 7 signaled a reinvigorated collective security paradigm. For the United States and its allies, permanent bases in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait ensured continued power projection in the region. Rapid deployment environmental teams grew out of experiences capping Kuwait's oil fires. Humanitarian innovations, needs assessments, monitoring mechanisms stemmed from debates over sanctions ethics. These forward-thinking prescriptions underscore that crafting durable order demands not only the machinery of war, but the enduring craftsmanship of peace. The Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in August 1990 was a watershed in post-Cold War history. It mobilized near-universal political resolve, economic pressure, and military might to uphold the sovereignty principle at the heart of the United Nations Charter. Yet its enduring legacy reminds us that securing the world's order is an ongoing endeavor, one that must blend deterrence and defense with dialogue, development, and an unwavering commitment to human dignity. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more captivating stories from our past. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.